The key to every successful recruiter or recruiting organization is a replicable process. What you're going to learn today is the core 4 candidate conversion strategy. This is the same process that our recruiters in the Qualigence Group use every day to convert more prospects into candidates, save time, and create a daily focus. Once you learn this yourself and employ it within your own organization, you'll be able to experience offer acceptance rates increase by 30, 40, even 50%. Focus your time on the candidates that are the right candidates to spend time with. The best thing is these are things that you'll be able to do today. Simple, but effective. Look, the obstacles that I just mentioned are exactly the reason why we created the Core 4 candidate approach and why it's so effective in connecting with and converting candidates. This process has allowed my team to predictably and repeatedly get the results that not only we want, but our clients want and deserve as well. We've been able to increase conversion rates. We've been able to increase offer acceptance rates, and in many instances, we've been able to decrease employee turnover. So what is the Core 4 candidate conversion strategy that works so effective with converting candidates? There's really 2 pieces to this idea. Number 1 is what I call Core 4 production. The second piece is understanding the candidate's Core 4 purpose. And the third is asking the right questions to probe into each of these 2. Core 4 production is really the piece of, are you spending the time with the right candidate? Do they have the right capacity or skill as the candidate that you're reaching out to? In character, have they shown by their previous performance, are they willing to do the job you ultimately want them to do? Competency, we've all heard before. Behavioral-based interviewing, are they showing the competency by the questions you ask that they're willing to continue doing the job? And then the 4th one under production is ultimately this idea of culture. Are they willing to do the job the way you want them to do the job? This is the easiest piece. Today, this is how most recruiters spend the majority of their time, really focused on capacity and competency. We've got to make sure we hit character and culture. But where the real secret to the candidate conversion process is in understanding the purpose of a candidate, understanding what ultimately drives that candidate so that they can persuade themselves by the questions you ask to ultimately become more curious about the position and the opportunity that you have to present. Now let's look at each of these 4 under Core 4 purpose. Pain, pleasure, pursuit, and personal. And you've probably heard all of these at one point or another. Pain, what are the things the candidate has today that they absolutely want to get rid of? Maybe it's an overbearing boss. Maybe it's a commute to work. There's a number of things painfully that you've got to uncover. 2, being pleasure. What does the candidate have today that they want to make sure they keep if they were to consider another opportunity? 3, pursuit. Where does the candidate want to go in their career? There's a couple of different paths. Some it's title. I want to be a VP because I'm a director. Some it's expanding their experience. Currently I'm a project manager. I want to be a program manager on the next step. There are a number of different variations to that. And ultimately, number 4, this idea of personal. What are the personal items in their life that ultimately affect the decisions that they make for that next opportunity? Whether it's family, whether it's location, there's a number of items. The way to uncover what's happening underneath of these 4 is by asking the right probing questions, or asking all 4 of the probing questions for each 4 under the purpose. For example, what, why, when, and how. Applying each of those to each of the 4 under purpose. What is the issue? What is creating the pain right now? My boss is creating the pain. That becomes my what. Where is that taking me is the why. Well, my boss ultimately is a pain because he or she is a micromanager. When do you want to solve this pain? Well, if it doesn't get fixed soon, I'm either going to ask for a transfer or I'm going to leave the organization, which leads me not only from when to how. I'm going to make this change by one of 2 ways. In order to get the candidate to ultimately persuade themselves and help you convert them instead of you having to persuade them. It's about asking the right probing questions within each of the core 4 purpose. Now, as I opened, I said this would be a simple process, which you can see it is. But it's a process that, as recruiters, we often forget. We spend all of our time on the production of the candidate, can they do the job, as opposed to really understanding the purpose of the candidate and asking the right questions for that candidate to convert themselves. I hope this video was helpful. Our Core 4 candidate conversion strategy is just one ingredient in our proprietary ROC recruiting methodology. This is the engine that drives our ability to identify, engage, and convert high numbers of qualified candidates. This one ingredient alone is powerful enough for you to get eyebrow-raising results in a very short period of time. Now, my team and I have set aside enough time for 10 individuals who really need help in identifying higher quality candidates, increasing candidate conversion rates, and overall enhancing the talent acquisition function, but without spending tens of thousands of dollars or losing candidates to competitors. We're not going to charge you for this conversation, but to be honest, this isn't for everybody. If you're a talent acquisition professional who is committed to improving versus talking about improving, you need to call our office today to schedule your free discussion and strategy roadmap. Just make sure to specify the industry before you book.